Hi, everybody. Dan here. We'll be reading about effective listening this week, and I wanted to ask you if some of these things have happened to you in your career. For example, have you learned of events too late, later than the rest of your associates? Has information had to be repeated to you by your supervisor? Do you find you're always putting out fires while some of your associates are not? What about this? Have you found that tasks are given to others and not to you, or no longer to you? And have you found that your manager has begun to communicate with you in writing? Well, if you're guilty of any of these signs, it could be because you're a poor listener. Listening is absolutely crucial to trust. And it's a lot harder on the job than in class, because in the classroom, information is much more organized. Not so on the job. And the job has a lot of distractions, noise, barriers that we don't have in the classroom. The classroom is much more formal. Plus, the job requires listening to feelings as well as information, especially if you're in a managerial position. So you always want to show your listening through facial expressions, nods, smiles. But are you listening? That's the thing. Because most of the time, we don't give our full attention. Most of the time, our attention drifts. We begin to daydream and listen with maybe 20% of our minds. This is particularly common in PowerPoints. The room is dark, we are comfortable, we begin to daydream. And that's, by the way, so important for you as a speaker to reach out to your audience and prevent them from daydreaming. Well, when do we listen with our full attention? Usually only when we have to, and that is in emergencies. So you have to get in the habit of active listening. And you want to be able to demonstrate that you've heard and understood a speaker by giving them feedback. One of the ways to do that is to create active responses. You paraphrase the content in your own words. You raise your hand and ask for information or clarification. And you offer to help solve the problem. So we have to listen not only to the facts, but for the feelings, especially when we deal with coworkers. We have to identify the speaker's main points. Don't be afraid to take notes, but I added the word brief. If you get obsessed with note-taking, you are going to miss much of what the speaker is saying. So be aggressive. Take a kind of shorthand. Constantly summarize the previous points, but quickly and aggressively, and try to relate the information to current policies and procedures. If you do, you will find out what's important to your manager and what his or her expectations are of you. You'll also know more about your coworkers. You'll have better relationship with management and with the people that you work with. You'll make better decisions in emergencies. You'll be able to summarize previous points because you've gotten in the habit of paraphrasing. And I added this, you'll learn from others' experience. If we pay attention, we can learn from the mistakes other people have made. Or if not mistakes, we learn that they tried to reinvent the wheel when they didn't have to, that there were resources available that they discovered. And if we listen carefully, we'll know where those resources can be found. So this is just a quick summary of the key points in Chapter 4. I'll see you on the next screencast. Bye.